What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So Michigan State basketball opens Big Ten conference play with a 90-72 win at the barn against Minnesota, a game in which was vintage Michigan State basketball, something we've kind of said a few times this year now, and would like to see that continue this year. But we're going to go by the numbers for this game, write down the game here, and talk about it here. But first, if you could just make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Michigan State basketball content on the channel, a bunch of other Michigan State stuff on the channel too, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. So 92-72 for Michigan State over Minnesota, up 42-30 at halftime, continued by outscoring them in the second half by 6 as well, 48-42, give you 92-72. First off, for Minnesota coming into the game, obviously we talked about Dawson Garcia. He's the main guy for them, and he went pretty much the whole way tonight for them. 39 minutes, 5 for 14 from the field, 18 points overall, 11 rebounds. He just couldn't get it going from three. He had some pretty decent looks, but I thought our guys, Xavier Booker, Jackson Kohler, other guys, I thought they rotated well to him when he did kind of get a sliver of opening at the three. Guys were closing out to him well, making a contested three. 1 for 8 for 3 from him. And I thought Lucy Patterson, I know I'm saying his first name wrong, I guarantee it, 12 points for him. 2 for 5 from 3. He was solid. And then coming back off the bench, Mike Mitchell Jr., 17 points. Coming back, obviously, he's missed a handful of games. We talked about him coming into the game, but he had a solid game for them as well. But you flip it over to Michigan State, and really, I mean, there's just a lot to like about this team. I mean, 12 guys played for Michigan State. 12 guys scored. Absolutely loved to see it up and down the roster. I mean, I think you got to really start out with Xavier Booker again, having another incredible game, specifically second half. I know Izzo said that he got on Booker at halftime a little bit because felt like he was just kind of floating out there, but 11 points for Book, 2 rebounds, 4 for 5 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and overall you could just feel his presence out there. Another guy, 2 bench guys, Cohen Carr coming in, and again, just Cohen Carr minutes, you can feel them, if that makes sense. And if you watch the game, you understand what I'm saying. Like, hit 12 points, that is a loud 12 points for him. Not just his dunks, but his athletic slashing that we've seen him develop this year and making solid defensive plays well. I mean, that like 28, 30-second sequence, whatever it was, where he contested a Minnesota dunk on the other end. I don't think he officially got the block on that one, but I mean, I can't remember if that he does have one block in this game, whether they credit him with the block or not on that one. Anyway, him contesting the dunk and then immediately sprinting down to the other block, waiting for the Jeremy Fears alley-oop and dunking it. I mean, that was just an incredible 28, 30-second sequence, and it seems like we get one of those from Cohen every single game. I mean, it's just really incredible, and it's really hard, especially with his defense, you know, taking steps each and every game. It's getting harder and harder, you know, with his reliability on the offensive end to just make the right winning plays. It's getting harder and harder to take him off the court. Jackson Kohler, I thought, was solid throughout the game as well. 11 points, 11 rebounds, 1 for 1 from 3, 3 for 4 from the field, just efficient. And that's what a few games here after his hot start that we kind of just talked about was, you know, maybe a little inefficient. You know, had a few games was like a 2 for 9, you know, 2 for 8, not super efficient, but getting back, 3 for 4, taking high quality shots. I thought he had a couple of threes that he could have jacked up, but didn't take and ended up just doing a DHO, get into some more action, and 4 for 4 from the line as well for him. As a team, Michigan State 21 for 26, 80.8%. Love to see that bouncing back after a kind of tough shooting game against North Carolina last Wednesday. Simone Zapala, again, I mean, it seems like I'm going to talk about everyone here on the roster, but I feel like that's the gist of this team. Is the team is so deep, and it can be anyone on any night, and we're not seeing one guy take over. I mean, we've seen Jaden Akins take over at times. We've seen Jace Richardson take over at times. We saw Trey Holloman against UNC last Wednesday take over in the first half. But, I mean, I feel like on their best nights when Michigan State is, you know, going to be playing their best and brand of Michigan State basketball that we love to see. I mean, I really think it's going to be like this. It's going to be, you know, 10, 12 guys playing and 10, 12 guys scoring and, you know, a couple in double digits. What's that? 4 in double digits for Michigan State. But Simone Zapala, even, you know, 15 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and, you know, making things happen, being efficient around the rim for him. 3 for 5 from the field, 3 for 4 from the free throw line as well. Trey Holloman back in his home state, 8 points, 8 assists, only 1 turnover. Incredible. Again, that's what we lauded about him all last year. His assist to turnover ratio, back at it again in his home state. 2 for 7 from the field, 2 for 5 from three, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Jeremy Fears, again, I mean, 10 points for him, 5 assists, and only 1 turnover. Absolutely love to see that after some late decisions against North Carolina that didn't like. And I know Tom Izzo talked about this after practice. I believe it was on Monday. He said, after a couple of those plays where, Jeremy knows that he messed up, made a few mistakes. He said that, he's always picked every other guy up on the team if something happens. And all 13, 14 other guys on the team were there to pick him up. And after those mistakes and, lift him up, and today bounces back and has a game like this, only 1 turnover after some of those decisions in that game. Just love to see it. And, 1 for 1 from three, 2 for 3 overall from the field, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, continuing to get to the line. And I really like, he's just really taking it right to the rim, finishing through contact and, getting to the line. And these are good shots. It's not kind of like what we talked about with Frankie Fiddler, who I thought, 7 points, 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from three, 2 for 3 from the free throw line, 3 assists, only had 1 rebound, but that 1 rebound, he was attacking, or there was a couple times, I'm thinking of one other sequence where he didn't get the rebound, but he attacked it, threw his body up there to get the rebound, and it was tapped out. I mean, that's what we talked about with Frankie doing the little things. 16 minutes, coming off the bench again, sticking with that, Fears, Akins, Trey, Zapala, Kohler starting lineup. But again, to finish up on Fears, I just really like if he adds that scoring threat for this team, double digits for him tonight with 10. I mean, this team is a different team with him scoring the basketball. And, he was one of 4 guys in double figures tonight, as we talked about, Jeremy Jackson in double figures, and then Xavier Booker and Cohen Carr off the bench. I mean, Jace Richardson as well played 20 minutes after missing the UNC game and a couple days of practice last week, but played 20 minutes, 4 points, 4 assists, had a steal, 0 for 2 from three, 2 for 5 from the field. But I mean, they were a nasty 2 field goals that he made. I mean, he has such a high arcing shot, and a few when he backs you down and then turn around over the right shoulder. Turnaround jumper is smooth. His 3 high arc on that as well. Didn't get one to fall tonight, but just makes the right decisions with the ball. And I mean, overall, this was Michigan State basketball. Driving, kicking for open threes. Most threes you've made in a game this season. 11 for 22, 50% when you come into the game shooting 22%. That's incredible improvement. Are we going to shoot 50% every night? No, probably not, but incredible improvement. Overall, shooting about 53% from the field in this game as well, improving that free throw percentage back to where your about season average is at, 80.8%, so about 81%. Again, dominating the rebounding glass, 39-27. At one point, I think it was like 14-3, 16-3 rebounding edge in the first half there, and just vintage Michigan State basketball there. Passing the ball around to 25 assists compared to only 15 for Minnesota. 5 steals, 5 blocks, and only turning the ball over 9 times. That's where we said would love this team to sit in between that 8 to 12 range in the turnover margin. Fast break points. This again is another reason why we say vintage Michigan State basketball. 27 fast break points, only 2 for Minnesota. Absolutely love that, and would love to see this continue, obviously. And that's the thing that I talked about right after the game in some private conversations, was just like got a text about the game and was just like love it, love this. And as I said, we've said it a couple times now, vintage Michigan State basketball. And yes, we talked about coming in the game. Minnesota is a bottom third Big Ten team. I like some of their pieces. Like, I like Dawson Garcia, Frank Mitchell, Mike Mitchell coming off the bench. I like some of their pieces there. Lucy Patterson had a good game, obviously, that we talked about, but they're a bottom third Big Ten team, and Michigan State was only favored by about 2, and we said we'd like a little bit more comfortable of a victory, and we got that in this one. But overall, what I'm taking away is, like, yes, the opponent is a bottom third Big Ten opponent, but the stuff that Michigan State was doing, the driving, the kicking, getting good looks, which they've been getting good looks all year, but the getting out, running, dominating the rebounding margins, I mean, that is stuff that you can translate no matter if you're playing a Minnesota, a Bowling Green, whoever. you can translate to you're playing a Purdue, you're playing a Wisconsin. I mean, you can translate this into games against better teams. So I think that's what gets me most excited about this Michigan State team. But they have to do it consistently, and that was my main point. It's like, yes, we've seen some stuff. It's still early in the season. Starting out 1-0 in the Big Ten is big, but consistency, I think, will be key for this group. It's, turning around now on Saturday, playing a early home game against Nebraska, 12 o'clock in the Breslin Center. Turning around, playing that game, I think it's imperative to start out 2-0 in this conference. Get a head start in this conference and, put yourself out on a good foot. Again, last year, 0-2. To start out the Big Ten season. Last 2 years, they said it during the broadcast, you lost the last 2 Big Ten openers. Getting out with the win in this game is very encouraging. Would love to just see that continue on Saturday. Get out to a hot start in conference play. Get yourself ahead of the margin so you don't have to, fight up the standings as the season goes along and you inevitably hit, some tough stretches and whatnot. But as I said, I love it. I say it's classic Michigan State basketball, vintage Michigan State basketball because of the stuff that they can take into each game. That's not matchup dependent. So hopefully we'll be able to see that. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. We'll be back to preview the Nebraska game on Saturday later this week. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.